This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Welcome in, everyone, to Lively Lewis Stories.
That's right. We're back with even more awesome adventures with Levi and Ivy.
Set your storytime meter to fun and get ready to join the Lively Lewis crew.
All you need is your imagination and...
Off we go! I can't wait to see where our story takes us today.
Have you ever wanted to get more Lively Lewis in your life?
Well, we've got you covered.
Grab an adult and zoom over to livelylewisshop.com.
Or just click on the link in our show notes.
Enough about that. Let's get to today's super Lively Lewis story.
The story you're about to enjoy was inspired by Avea. Thank you so much for your amazing idea. Ivy excitedly skipped around her room one lovely spring day, eagerly preparing for a very special tea party. And the reason it was so special was because Levi had finally agreed to join her. Well, sort of. Ivy had asked Levi to tea so many times before that she had lost count. But the other day when they were having a race from their treehouse to the garage, Ivy bet Levi that she could win. "If I win, Levi, you have to play tea party with me this weekend," said Ivy as she stretched before the big race. "Okay, and if I win, you can't ask me to play tea party with you for a whole year," said Levi with a big smile. They shook on the rules, and on the count of 3, they were off. Ivy was so determined to win that she ran as fast as she could, faster than she had ever before. Levi couldn't believe it, and before he knew it, the race was over and Ivy was asking what kind of tea he wanted that weekend. Now that Ivy was sure Levi would be at her tea party, she knew that she had to make it the best ever. That was because she wanted her brother to really enjoy it. She thought that if she had a great time, then he would be more likely to play tea party with her again and again. Ivy already had the tea party all planned out, even before the race began. She would start by setting up a little table in her room covered in a beautiful tablecloth. She'd fill the table with fresh flowers from the garden outside, colorful cloth napkins with a fancy scalloped edge, and of course, all of Levi's favorite snacks, which all had one thing in common. They were all chocolate. Levi loved chocolate, and Ivy figured the more chocolate, the better. With almost everything planned out in her head, Ivy could now concentrate on the most important thing of all: the tea. This is a very important part of our story because right after her race with Levi, Ivy asked her mom if she could take her to the little antique store in town. She had some birthday money saved up and she thought she could buy 2 real porcelain teacups to make her tea party extra special. Once she was in the store, she looked around. She found lots of old teacups with dainty saucers covered in flowers and pretty patterns. But none of them were just right. After telling the old woman who owned the store what she was looking for, the woman told her to wait at the register. She had the perfect teacups for Ivy in the back. "These teacups belong to my great-great-grandmother," said the woman after she returned to the register. "My grandmother used them a lot with her mom, and then my mom used them with me. You remind me a lot of myself as a child, and I'd love to have you borrow them." "Wow!" exclaimed Ivy as she picked up one of the teacups that the store owner had brought out. They were amazing looking. They seemed to glisten with every color in the rainbow and felt like they were meant for her. "Thank you so much," said Ivy as the old woman wrapped up the 2 teacups. "But it's very important that you know something very special about these teacups," the old woman began to say. "They're magic. They have the power to transform your tea party into something very special or very unusual. You just need to watch what you ask for. The teacups are very powerful." Ivy loved the idea of magic teacups, but more importantly, she loved the idea of making her tea party the most amazing tea party she could imagine. She knew if she did, that Levi would be her tea party partner forever. "Thank you again," called out Ivy as she followed her mom and left the store. "Have fun. Just remember to bring them back when you're done," called out the old woman. "And just be careful what you wish for during your tea party." Ivy wasn't really listening. She was already thinking about her amazing tea party and couldn't wait for the weekend when it would finally happen. And after a few days of waiting, the weekend had arrived. Ivy was almost all set up for her tea party and was ready to bring up the tea to her bedroom. She hurried downstairs to the kitchen to get her very special teacups and a beautiful teapot filled with iced tea. Her day couldn't have been going better. That was until she got back upstairs. You see, Ivy had left her window open because it was such a lovely day, and when she opened her bedroom door, she couldn't believe her eyes. 2 squirrels! Yes, 2 squirrels were in her bedroom, gobbling up all the chocolate snacks that Ivy had put out for Levi. All of his favorite sweet treats were now gone, and Ivy didn't have enough time to go out and get more. "Get out of here, you little furry chocolate thieves!" called out Ivy as she ran towards the two sneaky squirrels. The little critters hopped onto her bed and then out the window, leaving behind nothing but a pile of chocolate crumbs. "What am I going to do?" whispered Ivy to herself as she quickly saw her chances of having an amazing tea party fading away before her eyes. Levi's favorite chocolate treats were a really important part of the tea party. What was Ivy going to do now? She put down the teapot on her desk, but held the teacups, trying to figure out a solution. Then, in a sad voice, Ivy whispered, "I wish I could get a whole bunch of chocolate right now." Then all of a sudden, something truly bizarre happened. She felt the rug beneath her feet start to move, and when she looked down, she saw that she was standing on... chocolate? "My rug is chocolate?" exclaimed Ivy, stunned at what she was seeing. Hearing such a strange shout coming from his sister's room, Levi ran in to see what the chocolate rug commotion was all about. And as soon as he walked into Ivy's bedroom, he gasped in surprise. "How did this happen?" Levi called out to Ivy, pointing at the rug. It was at that moment that Ivy figured it out. "The teacups! The teacups are magic!" answered Ivy. "The old woman at the antique store told me that something magical could happen while I had them, but I never expected anything like this." As Ivy was speaking, the teacups in her hand were turning into chocolate. Thinking fast, Levi knew he had to get his mom and dad. He ran downstairs and told them to follow him quickly. Not knowing what was going on, but wanting to help, they followed Levi upstairs, down the hall, and into Ivy's bedroom. And by the time they all got back, things were really getting out of hand. Ivy's room was almost completely chocolate at that point, including Ivy's shoes, which had now connected her to the chocolate rug. Unable to move and wondering how much time she had until she potentially turned into an Ivy-shaped chocolate statue, she told her mom what the woman at the antique store had told her about the teacups. "I made a wish that I had lots of chocolate for my tea party, after some squirrels snuck into my room and ate all the snacks I put out," explained Ivy. "I was holding the teacups and then all of a sudden my rug, and now everything else is turning into chocolate." And before anyone knew it, Ivy too turned completely into chocolate. Still holding the chocolate teacups, she stood frozen in the center of her chocolate bedroom. "What are we going to do, Mom?" asked Levi, who was now hiding behind his dad. "I don't want Ivy to be chocolate forever." Ivy's mom quickly reassured her family, including Ivy, that everything would be okay and that she had a plan. She told Levi and his dad to stay with Ivy as she ran to the antique store. She burst through the door, calling out for the old woman who owned the store. Luckily, there was no one else there at the time. The old woman ran from the back room after hearing the commotion and knew almost instantly what was going on when she saw Ivy's mom and the worried look on her face. "Something happened with the teacups, didn't it?" asked the old woman, already knowing the answer. Ivy's mom nodded her head. "You have to come with me right now and help my daughter," pleaded Ivy's mom. "I'll explain everything on the way." The old woman turned over the close sign on the front door as she followed Ivy's mom outside. In no time, they were back at Ivy's house, and the old woman followed Ivy's mom up to her bedroom. "Oh my," said the old woman, unable to control her shock at seeing a chocolate world in front of her. "Can you help her?" asked Levi. "Thankfully, I can," said the old woman as she walked toward Ivy and touched the teacups in her hand. "Who did she do this for?" "Oh, what do you mean?" asked Levi. "Who did Ivy want all this chocolate for?" The old woman answered. "The teacups will grant one wish made by the person holding them if the wish is sincere and it will benefit someone else. However, sometimes things just get out of hand." "It was me," said Levi, stepping forward. "We were having a tea party today, and she wanted me to really love it. Chocolate is my favorite snack. She wished for more after the snacks she put out got eaten by squirrels." "That is quite the story," said the old woman. "But now that I know that, turning Ivy from chocolate back to her old self will be easy. I just need your help, Levi." Levi agreed immediately and waited to hear what he could do. "I need you to place your hand on the teacups and tell Ivy that you don't need chocolate to enjoy this tea party." The old woman began. "Tell her all you need to have a great time is her. But you have to mean it. It seems to me that Ivy really wanted you to enjoy this day. You're her big brother, and she loves spending time with you. I think you can see that now." Levi reached out and touched the chocolate teacups in Ivy's hand. I love spending time with Ivy too, and even though tea parties aren't totally my thing, I was excited to hang out with her today and see what it was all about, Ivy told the old woman. And that was before I knew there would be chocolate. I just want Ivy back so we can have our tea party together. No chocolate needed. And without even knowing it, Levi had just broken the magical spell cast by the teacups. Everyone watched at first. Ivy's rug turned back to normal, then the teacups she was holding in her hand. Then her shoes, her room, and finally her. Ivy, you're back! Exclaimed Levi, giving his sister a big hug, quickly joined by his parents. Ivy, still holding the teacups, hugged her family before noticing the old woman from the antique store. I think these belong to you, Ivy said with a little smile, handing her the teacups. Thank you for letting me borrow them, but I'm going to stick to using our regular teacups from now on. The old woman smiled and took the cups from Ivy. Thank you so much for helping me, said Ivy, giving the old woman a hug. The old woman smiled and turned to leave Ivy's room. That was until Ivy called out to her. Would you like to stay for our tea party? Asked Ivy. You too, Mom and Dad. I'd love to have you all here. Everyone agreed, especially Levi. And after gathering up some more snacks from the kitchen, Ivy welcomed everyone to her tea party. It was so much fun, and even though there were no chocolate snacks, Levi had the best time of all. He agreed to another tea party the next week, but this time he would put it together for Ivy. Levi made sure to promise his sister that he wouldn't borrow any teacups from the antique store, and he definitely wouldn't invite any snacky squirrels to join them.
Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed the story and learned a little something too.
And since we know everyone has their own story, we'd love to hear yours.
If you have an idea for a Lively Lewis story, leave a comment on our Apple Podcast review page with 5 stars, your idea, and your little one's name.
Then maybe our next adventure will be with you.
Until our next Storytime Hangout.
Thanks for listening. We can't wait to share another fun Lively Lewis story with you.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.